once people remove the ego and they realize, yeah, I need help, and then I can do more and help more people, and this is going to be the step for me in a business decision, then they freeze and paralyze in fear because they have no idea who it is going to be. How do I hire the right person? I don't even have a checklist. This is all in my head. It's not in writing. And then am I going to train them? And they start really getting frozen in uncertainty and fear. And they say, can I even afford it? Am I even going to find 40 hours a week? Yes, 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 and yes. And can you afford not to?
I am excited because this is a midday mindset conversation, and we're going to talk strategies to grow and scale your business. As you know, my name is Daniel Ramsey. I'm the founder and CEO of MyOutDesk, but today's guest is an amazing mindset growth business coach, president of Freedom Coaching, and you help business owners get freedom in their business. Cari, thanks for being here. I'm really excited. Okay, so we're talking about the feeling of being owned by a business. Let's dive in. What is that like?
Oh man, I don't know. I think you and I have had this conversation before, Daniel, so we can resonate with anybody who's feeling this way right now. Either you own your business or it owns you. And somehow usually you start thinking you own it and then you wake up one day and go, what just happened? I don't think I own my business anymore. I think it owns me. It's not fun. The reason we went with Freedom Coaching with this organization is because my passion is to not have people feel that way, because I did for 10 years and I was quite miserable. But the reality is that the reason you as an entrepreneur went into business for yourself was to get freedom. And it's the number one challenge that you will face, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about this topic. And if you're here, we have a gift. Cari has been generous with her time and will match you with a coach to your level, regardless if you're a brand new entrepreneur or you've got a huge business. Time is our only resource, and feeling like your business owns you is a problem, right? So she's going to help you work through that and is giving away a free hour of coaching to anybody on this call that comments and has their best example of how they felt around their business owning them versus them owning a business. Yeah, exactly. Them.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear how you feel, because when you say how you feel, it kind of makes other people in the same boat go, oh, I'm not the only one. This is awesome and empowering.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, in my own experience, I mean, I literally was working on my honeymoon. So in Guatemala, working on my honeymoon and, closing a transaction, a real estate transaction. And there I was at a Francis Ford Coppola resort working. And so I know this feeling well. But let's dive into the mindset stuff. And guys, remember, this is live. So not only are we here to serve you, but we want to answer your questions. So if you're here, rock with us and interact. Cari, what's the mindset that needs to go away in order to kind of work out this challenge?
So, I think it starts with, as a society, when we say we're going to go build a business and we are an entrepreneur, immediately what I believe that we have in our mind, which by the way, is just a story we tell ourselves. And the reality is it is a story we believe, and it's probably been one told to us, whether it's directly or indirectly, which is we need to do everything and we've got to take all of the responsibility on our own shoulders. And if we're building this business, then we need to do it all. And how do we do it? How do I go find more information? How do I go become more educated? How do I go find more systems and resources? How do me? And although I understand when you first start a business, it's important to take your full responsibility and do everything that you can, at the end of the day, this becomes a perpetual habit of thinking about how instead of who. It's not natural for us to go, I have a problem in my business, who can solve it? It's how can I solve it? Well, here's the reality is that over time, we have found that how creates a whole bunch more problems and who actually finds the solution. So it's literally a shift in mindset of, instead of asking yourself the how question, you start asking yourself the question of who. But it also takes a little bit of self-awareness to realize that there is not one person in this world that has become massively successful that has done it 100% on their own. You can look at people like Michael Jordan, you can look at Olympic athletes, you can look at massive business owners, and they have honed their skills because they were amplified and surrounded by people that enabled them to go into that place of their genius, right? To stay in their space of genius. There is zero way that somebody can level up in the place that they're already talented if they continue to do all of these other things. It's impossible. I love to use the example of Michael Jordan because I was one of those teenagers, by the way, that wore the shirt with Michael Jordan face on it. Yes, I was a tomboy.
Yeah.
Yes, I played basketball. I loved him and I love his story. But what I love about him is that he was actually massively talented. However, he actually didn't start winning until there was a quote unquote dream team surrounding him. And that means people that were actually defending him, people that were supporting him on the coaching side and on other sides of his life, even outside of basketball, that he actually wasn't that good. And the team didn't win it when it was just him. And when they started to devise people around him, he became better and then the team won. Well, that's the same thing in business, is you've got to stop thinking about how you do it all, because you never will. And actually, your business is only going to grow to the extent that you do. And at some point, you level off because you can't do it all. So the last thing I would say mindset wise is, you think that people love you, and they probably do. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be harsh, but they actually really love the service you provide to them or the product you've developed. They like what you've built. That doesn't mean they won't work with somebody else. You think that that's just another story you're telling yourself. In fact, if you found somebody who did it better, they'd even like you more. Think about that. They'd like you more if you provide them somebody else in your world that does part of your job better than you do it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we're definitely in that conversation of leverage, and we, as the virtual professional leader, know leverage. But I'm curious, what is the mindset that stops the entrepreneur or the leader or the C-suite person from just saying, "Hey, I need a who," versus "I'll
Mhm.
just go do it"? Like, what's the mindset? What stops them? Because that is the lid, right?
Yeah. Ego, 110%, not in a negative way. The ego is also a negative term for most people. For me, it's just a term. That means it's the
Right.
egoic part of your brain. It just is. We all have it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just part of who we are as a human being. That being said, you either think that you're better than others in this area, which again is ego. And you're not trying to be egotistical. You just literally think that you do it better and that you're going to be able to control the situation and have a better outcome than somebody else. And you don't realize that that's not really true. Or the ego is, I don't want to look like I can't do it and I don't want to ask for help. So either way, you have ego. Sometimes people will say to me, I don't have ego. I don't think I do it better, but you're still not letting somebody else do it. Why aren't you? Well, because, I should be able to do it. That's ego too, right? Ego goes on both sides. Whether you think that you should be able to and can't, or think that you're better than everybody, it's still a problem. The thing is that you aren't going to do it all. And so you've got to remove your ego. I tell people that you'll finally become a fierce competitor in your business when you can remove the thoughts that the egoic part of your brain brings onto you, which, by the way, happens like all day long. And so this is a subconscious to conscious transition. And I'm working a lot with people on how do you get into conscious leadership? Stop reacting subconsciously, which is that ego that puts thoughts in your minds and makes you react or not act, and you don't even know it's happening. Instead, you have to realize it's happening, be aware, and then move away from subconscious into conscious and go, wait, that doesn't make any logical sense here. I need to actually take control of my own life instead of having my mind do it.
I love it. And so, okay, let's assume that as a leader, I've decided I need a who. I've decided to get out of my own way and not focus on the ego. What's my first step? How do I make that decision and decide to move forward and hopefully grow and scale a business?
Yeah, I guess, for me, it would be to look at your business and say, well, what is actually moving the needle forward? What are the revenue generating activities? Because at the end of the day, we still have to be a CEO of our own business. And that means we have to manage the money. And that
Yep.
means we can't get more leverage if we're not making money. And so also identifying really where your strengths and weaknesses are and having major self-awareness. And sometimes that takes somebody else from the outside looking in and seeing where your blind spots are. That's the thing that's hard when you're in it. You can't see You don't have peripheral vision the way somebody else who's looking above, looking down into your business and going, oh, you don't see this part of what you do, Cari. I have a coach, and I've had one for almost 22 years now, that has helped me become very self-aware because I had no idea some things that I was doing. And that's the subconscious, right? That's the subconscious mind. So I think that you have got to either become really self-aware yourself somehow, or have somebody help you become self-aware. And then you've got to start creating space and knowing where you should be focusing and where you shouldn't. That will help you figure out where your gaps are. And then you can go look for who is going to fill that gap. But you need to stay in the revenue generating activities and in your zone of genius. And you've got to get really clear of what that is.
Yeah, I remember my first experience with a coach, and I'm excited that you said this because this is exactly what my challenge was. I wanted to grow, but I wasn't sure what the next step was. And I didn't even know how to create a strategic plan. Like, I had no idea, and I needed an org chart, and I had to get out of my own way, and ego was there. And I was like, I'm the guy, And so I hired a coach, and literally, you're spot on. We worked on how to make a strategic plan to get others involved in the business, to give them a place to go. Then we looked at an org chart, and we figured out, okay, who's sitting where and what are they doing, and who's going to handle the customers and who's going to handle the ops. And those steps are how we actually onboard our clients here at MyOutDesk, because that's what's required. You got to think about, who do I need? What do I need to stop doing? What are the revenue? Can I afford to hire this person? And then if I do get them, how am I going to get them into the business and teach them how to do what we want? And so everything that you're talking about is spot on. Let's talk a little bit about how you structure your coaching, and then we'll give it away.
Yeah, what you just said there is really important, because once people remove the ego and they realize, I need help, and then I can do more and help more people, and this is going to be the step for me in a business decision, then they freeze and paralyze in fear, because they have no idea who it is going to be. How do I hire the right person? I don't even have a checklist. This is all in my head. It's not in writing. And then am I going to train them? And they start really getting frozen in uncertainty and fear. And they say, can I even afford it? Am I even going to find 40 hours a week? Yes, 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 and yes. And can you afford not to? Stepping outside of your comfort zone and making this higher is going to force you to do some of the things you should have done before. But if you can do it with the guidance of a coach, it's going to be a lot more smooth. And we refer a lot of our clients to your company, Daniel, because you guys do a phenomenal job. I mean, you spend time up front, you give them the checklist, you help them think about things that they don't even know to think about. And although sometimes it's overwhelming, they can come back to us, and then we can help guide them in that process. And it actually makes a really great teamwork effort to get people into leverage for the very first time, or additional leverage if they need it. So I've been super appreciative of that. That process seems to work really well. And so both of those things, I think, if you're looking to get leverage, are really important. You need to get the clarity. You need to get through like, how am I going to train, and what are these people going to do, and how do I find the right person? And then maybe have a coach help guide you through it, so you stay on task and you actually get this done. Because I know many of you have been procrastinating it. And this is why you move into uncertainty and discomfort is because you need to get into action. And then you're moving forward and you actually get forward progress. Our coaching is one-on-one coaching, Daniel. For the most part, we do some small groups, but mostly we believe in one-on-one coaching, because as a holistic business coach, that means we coach the whole person. We don't believe that they are just business problems. Typically, business problems are personal problems showing up in business. And the reason that is because business is just part of life, and we're a human being. And so we don't compartmentalize our human being problems. Somehow they don't leak into business. That's just impossible. Yep. And so if we're helping to elevate ourselves as human beings and our mindset and how we lead ourselves, then our business will always be elevated. And we can always go to business and use those challenges to help us develop ourselves. And if we know our business only grows to the level we do, then it just makes sense that we're working on all the things. And when you work on all the things, it's easier to do it, and it's more productive to do it in a one-on-one setting. But we do want to lower the barrier of entry for people, because sometimes people haven't had coaching, and it's a big expense to some people, and it's unnerving, and they don't know what they're going to get. So we always offer a free introductory call. Also, if somebody's serious about taking coaching to the next level, they always get to meet their coach first before they pull the trigger, so to speak. That's important. We believe in that. We don't want to just set somebody up with a coach and have them hope it works out. There has to be some synergy there. And then third, They can choose 2 times a month or 4. And of course, those are different costs and time commitments. And it can help people get into coaching and then maybe move up into more time and to see their ROI. And that's really what we expect our coaching clients to see. And we work really hard to make sure that they do.
I love it. One of my best friends, who's also a customer here at MyOutDesk, just hired his first coach. And I've watched him grow, and he, unfortunately, he's in the construction world, and he had a particular need for coaching. I don't know, it's a weird asphalt world, right? But here's the thing, and this is what I would challenge everybody who's listening right now. I'm seeing him grow just through Yes, me. And we've been friends since college, and he's probably watching right now. And if you are, I love you, man.
Hi.
But here's what I would say. If you're not in a space of massive revenue growth, I would invite you to do a consultation with Cari and her team. And if you want to really change your world, it's about who's on your team. And the coach is definitely the first person. We'll just end real quick.
I wanted to end it with results, not effort, is the name of the game. At the end of the day, you're rewarded in life by the results you get, not by how much you work, not by how much you do, not by what you do. It's about the results that you get in life or business. And so hopefully that will resonate with somebody to go, oh yeah, I'm overworking. My business owns me. I'm working 70 hours a week. I'm working on vacation. I'm not present with my children. Wait a minute. Do I get an award for how much I'm working? Or am I getting an award about the results I get? And could I get the same or more results by actually surrounding myself with some people and getting some leverage and my quality of life back? By the way, that's way more sustainable. I always like to say, you either design your business around your life, or you just go into business and hope it fits around your life. But if you do the second one, you're going to end up hating both. And I'm saying this from experience because I did. But then when I redid it, I got to start, a redo. I said, okay, wait, I can do it different this time. This time I build my business around the life that I want. And my business is more successful than it ever has been. And the reason why is because I'm more happy. And so that's what we'd love to help you with. And if nothing else, hopefully here you've been able to get some inspiration in the middle of your day.